Ladies and gentlemen, extremely happy to see all of you here. Thank you very much for being present. Particularly grateful to Mr. Abhay Sinha. He's my 1 year senior at Roorkee, and about 4 years back, 5 years back, when he was posted as Chief Engineer CPWD in Bombay, I called one of my classmates. I said, "Yaar, Mr. Sinha has come. How is he?" He said, "He's one of our finest officers." That is what I heard at the time. And indeed, we have had fantastic experience with him when he was chief engineer. Then he moved on to bigger positions elsewhere, became member engineering, DDA. And again, when he came back to position of director general, we were again delighted because we feel that we have our man sitting inside CPWD, that too as head of the institution, head of the organization. I remember Mr. Kothari is here. Kothari and I wrote the draft MOU, and we were wondering whether chief engineer from CPWD will be so conservative that whatever we write, whether he will trash it and say, forget it, this is not acceptable. But then Mr. Sinha had such a positive attitude to discuss every line, word by word. Mr. Sinha, I and Kothari discussed, and we could, in one meeting, we could finalize the MOU. There was no ifs and buts after that. Today, I told him, I said, you have given me very fine officers from CPWD. For next phase, can I continue to get finest officers? He said, you choose and tell me whom you want, and I will give you those officers. And that is the kind of spirit with which Mr. Sinha has been with us, and I'm very grateful, Sinha Sahab, for your presence here today and for your participation and your confidence in us. Ladies and gentlemen, I see a lot of faces here, a lot of people here who have put in a lot of effort, a lot of energy to make this campus what it is today, and I'm very grateful to each one of you. Personally, most of you know that I'm a professor of civil engineering, but I'm not a civil engineer. I have never done any construction. I have never done any civil engineering. And therefore, when I was taking this job, the only thing I did not like about this job was that there will be a responsibility of building the campus. And that was something I was very unhappy about, very scared and intimidated, I must say. But it is people like all of you that have made my job easier, that has enabled me to stand with my head high and say that even construction we have done well. We have done well on many things, but the fact that we have done well even in construction. Sinha Sahab gave you some sense of how fast this campus was built. If I can give you just one simple number, the contract for the hostels was awarded late night on 30th of July. Laksh Bhargav is here somewhere. Laksh said that my chief engineer wants to meet you. I said, I will meet your chief engineer when the order is issued to the contractor. And he said, all right, I will see that it happens tonight. And that night around 10 or 11 o'clock, if I remember it, Laksh can correct me, the email came issuing the work order to the contractor or letter of intent, whatever the technical word was, for the hostel on 30th July 2013. On 15th July 2015, the students had started to move into the campus. So it was less than 2 years that this happened. This happened with a new technology, confined masonry. CPWD had not done it, our consultants had not done it, our structural engineer was not very happy about it, and we were building the bricks on the site. So we were testing a new technology, and Mehta Sahab is here. Mehta Sahab, jara ek baar khade ho jaiye, taali baj jaye. Mehta Sahab was the contractor's representative who was building that hostel, and it has been absolutely a delightful journey that we have had. So the question people ask me, how is it that IIT Gandhinagar is so happy? Because they don't hear many other heads of the institutions, organizations happy with their construction side of it. Many people are unhappy that there are complications in contracts, there are delays and things like that. And while sitting here, while Sinha Sahab was talking, I was thinking, what is it that enabled us to do well? Why we think today that, let me tell you this. So one of the chief engineers in CPWD has written 4 or 5 letters to Ministry of Human Resource Development saying that the next new IIT in this state, the construction should be given to CPWD, and look at how good a job we have done in IIT Gandhinagar. And he has been copying all those letters to Director IIT Gandhinagar. So today, a chief engineer of CPWD sitting 1,000 or 1,200 kilometers away from us, when he says to anybody saying, give this project to us, they say, look at how well we have done work at IIT Gandhinagar. So I was thinking, what made us so fortunate? I think one of the very important things was that all of us involved in the project, whether you were consultants, whether you were architects, whether you were contractors, whether you were engineers with CPWD or with us, I think one of the most important thing was that we had the spirit that we were not constructing a building. We were not constructing a campus. We were creating an institution where generations of students will learn and our future generations will be built in this campus. And therefore, the purpose of this whole exercise was much bigger than what it appears. It was not just executing that contract and making that building. It was putting your best to give to your future generations a campus, an environment that will be conducive to their growth so that our future generations will do well. I think second thing that was extremely important was the ownership of the project by all stakeholders. I remember how when we said to CPWD that we would like this campus to be a very special campus on labor welfare, on labor security, labor safety, on health issues, on children's issues. I remember how much response we got, not only from the CPWD, but even from the contractors. I remember the enthusiasm with which Mr. Sudhir in CPWD would very enthusiastically talk to the children of the construction workers, how Mehta Sahab was very passionately looking for teachers to teach the construction workers' children. I think there was a tremendous ownership by everybody, tremendous sense of partnership in this, whether it was an undergraduate student of the institute, whether it was contractors, whether us. I think the third thing that was very important was a tremendous teamwork. What teamwork means is that there will be differences of opinion, you will discuss them. There will be arguments, you will discuss them. There will be totally opposite views, and you will discuss them. And you may resolve them in one meeting, or you may resolve it in 4 meetings, but those shall be resolved. And resolved not because my ego is bigger than your ego, but resolved in the best interest of creating that institution that we are building for future generations. And I think we had a very fortunate situation where everybody put in their best efforts. We had a very unique experience where we were engaging different set of architects, somebody to design academic buildings, somebody to design the hostel, somebody to design the residential areas, and they all will sit in the same conference room. One of them is making presentation, and others are coming forward and making suggestions. You can improve on this, you can do this better, you can do this better, and nobody took an offense. I was told that what you are trying to do will create fireworks. How could one architect allow the other architect to point fingers at his work, that too in front of the client? And I said, look, we are an academic institution, we do this all the time. That is our spirit. We are all working in the bigger interest, and I think everybody worked for that. We also were very clear that everybody may not have the expertise. In some cases, if we found that the consultant does not have a certain expertise, and we found that the consultant would find it a little awkward to spend so much money in hiring yet another consultant, we would go ahead and hire another consultant, and we would say, all right, this part you leave, we will do this for you. So there was a lot of teamwork which came with mutual respect. There is no way you can do a good project if you don't respect each other. And I remember in one of the first meetings, one of the architects did remark, oh, you are going to get it done by CPWD? Then forget it. And I said, look, if we have to do this project well, we have to learn that we must respect each other. We are all professionals, and let us question each other's work on merit, but let us not do name calling. And I think everybody understood that, and everybody followed that, and it worked out well. I think the next thing that was extremely important was the hard work. I don't think project like this can happen if people are working 9 to 5, if they are working 5 days a week. I have come on odd times, I have come here on Saturday, Sundays, and I have always found people working here, whether those were CPWD officers, whether they were my own colleagues. And finally, I think it was a coincidence, sheer coincidence. It was a matter of good luck. I think the stars were aligned that we ended up having good people. Good people make the project. Ultimately, if there is a weakest link in the chain, that is what will break the chain. And we were very fortunate to have very good people to be associated with us. We look for long-term partnerships. Extremely happy that everybody associated with us from beginning is still associated with us in some form or the other, in some manner or the other. And I do hope that all of you associated with us in some form or the other will remain associated. And if there is anything that we can do together, please let us know if there is something we can do better. we will be happy to do it. We also decided that there were a lot of unsung heroes, there were a lot of people who went beyond the call of duty, who did extraordinary work, and we thought we would like to appreciate them. And that is how we went to the Board of Governors and got certain awards instituted. These will be annual awards, typically not only to build a campus, but also to manage the campus, to do something different, to do something interesting. So we would also be giving out awards. Harish, what is the plan? Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.